Dear people of Southern Cameroons, fellow brave warriors of our liberation movement, accept liberation greetings from me, Comrade John Akuro. Today is Thursday, and this Thursday is the 23rd day of October 2025. My dear people, I beg your pardon. I'm delighted to be here once more for us to have another very interesting session of information, education, sensitization. I'm delighted to be here and I want to take this opportunity to extend hearty salutes to all our people, the people of the Southern Cameroons, the people of Amazonia, all over the national territory. I want to extend special salutes to our business community, to the civil society, to the bayam sellers, to the truck pushers, to the taxi drivers, to the bike riders, the commercial bike riders, in fact, to even interurban transporters, to everyone in the Southern Cameroon society for your relentless, I should say, our relentless commitment towards the goal of freedom, towards guaranteeing that we have a free, independent, and prosperous country, the Southern Cameroons, aka Amazonia. I want to extend hearty salutes too to our brave hearts, those ones who genuinely, who truly have committed their lives to fighting to ensure that we have a free homeland, those who are standing really for the people, working for the people, sacrificing to ensure that one day we will have a place we call homeland where no one will come and treat us again as second-rate citizens, where no one will come and treat us again as subhumans, where we will have the opportunity to define our own development priorities, where we will have the possibility to define our own educational orientations, where we will have the possibility to define our own legal framework and make sure that we bring peace, love, happiness, and prosperity to our people who, for at least 65 years, I think about 65 years, about 65 years, have suffered black on black colonialism, have suffered recolonization by proxy, conducted from Paris and executed by La République du Cameroon on our land. My dear people of Amazonia, accept salutes from me this morning. Folks, I want to start this session today by, you know, expressing how I feel about this incident. The picture you find on my screen here is of a gentleman, a guy whom I had known for a long time when he was running the press book office at Carrefour Emir in Yaoundé. Abbe Indra Michael was a gentleman, was a guy that I knew had a heart filled with love, had a heart filled with, with compassion. That this was a man with whom we usually criticized the Biya regime so seriously for all of the dirty things that that regime was doing. Until someday, I was surprised to hear my good friend, Abbe Andra Michael, say he was going to run for parliament. And I was like, under which political party? He said the CPDM. I asked, brother, what suddenly changed? What really changed? How did you come about this 360-degree turn to be finding yourself on the same side that you and I and others have been criticizing so mercilessly? And he said he was hopeful that with all the ideas that we had shared always, he was going to, foster a change from within. Did Michael succeed in fostering that change from within? Did he succeed in changing the CPDM to become something that, to become a machinery that could work in the interest of the people? The answer to this question definitely is blowing in the winds. So when I got up yesterday morning and saw the images, saw pictures all over the place, and read what I read, that my good friend, Abbe Indra Mike, was no more. I often called him fondly Angel Mike. That's how close we were. I often addressed him as Angel Mike because he was such a nice soul, such a good man, such a compassionate and soft spoken human being. But how Mike ended up finding himself in the midst of a criminal gang is something I can't understand. Look at what has happened to my good friend. Look at how my good friend has ended. Where were they when Michael found himself in difficulties? Where were they when Michael needed them the most? Where was Ngala Gerard? Where was Musa Shameful? Where was Shea Jones Yembe? Where was Fukalitus Gentry? Where was Atanga Ponji when Abbe Michael needed them the most? I read also that they were taking his remains to the mortuary in Cambe when they got parliamentary instructions to rather convey the corpse towards Yaoundé. Oh, what for? When he needed them the most, they were not there. But now they want his remains because they need to make political capital, further political capital from his remains. This is not only sad, it is horrifying. My dear people of Amazonia, no one in the right senses will celebrate the demise of a fellow human being. But sometimes we fail to read the signs of the times. Sometimes we fail to recognize that we need to love ourselves first and more than we expect anyone else to love us. We fail to understand that no matter what we do, the gangs that we find ourselves belonging to are only interested in us when they can make capital out of us. Yes, Abbe Mike was in Misaje. Yes, he came away from there with huge numbers, thousands of votes for candidate Paul Biya, whether they were genuine or they were not. He secured those. And when he was now on his way back, having secured those votes, having rendered, having, delivered, tragedy struck. Did they all rise for him? No, he was on his own. This is how it always ends. You will always be on your own. When you are dealing with a gang that's only interested in tapping from you, but never concerned when it comes to giving to you, this is how it ends. I weep for Michael's family. I weep for his wife who has now become a widow, just like that. I weep for his children who have now been orphaned, just like that. All over the southern Cameroons. All these members of the CPDM crime syndicate continue to put their lives and themselves and their families in harm's way by doing unorthodox things for what amount of gain? For sinecure positions? Look at John Gute. How John Gute has been so ridiculed by this particular government, so reduced to rubble, so insulted, so smashed, so trampled upon. John Gute Joseph has gone down in history as the most thingified prime minister, head of government in the Republic of Cameroon. I mean, the most thingified. That even primary school children in the Republic of Cameroon found time to ask John Gute to do the right thing, to resign, even just in honor of his brothers and sisters that were being killed by the murderous genocidal regime of Paul Biya. Hell no. Even my good friend Mbela Moki Charles, aka Ngaringa, alias the people we don't like, found time to say it on the Senate floor that even a bike, a motorbike, will find it so challenging to get to Ekondo Titi, to get to Mundemba. Yet, John Gute lifted the wonderful feat of ensuring a 100% voter turnout in Mundemba, of ensuring a 100% voter turnout in Mundemba, and a 100% score for Paul Biya. when you and I have seen the terrible conditions that the people have to face when they are traveling from Kumba to either Ekondo Titi, even to Bogongo John Gute's village, or to Mundemba. Yet, when people ridicule themselves in this way, put themselves in harm's way, to end up with so little, to end up with insults, we sometimes find ourselves left with only the possibility to mourn like this when these kind of things happen. Mike, and Michael Abbe Andra, as I often called you, go in peace. Rest in peace. The only prayer I have is that others learn from this and rethink their ways. It is painful, very painful, when we find ourselves at this kind of crossroads. My dear people, during the campaigns leading up to the October 12th presidential election in La République du Cameroun, I made some revelations on this platform. I talked about some 4 candidates, and I said I received intelligence from sources in La République du Cameroun, very high offices in La République du Cameroun, that they had collected money in exchange for allegiance, and that the directives given them or the conditions that they received, that they were handed down for in exchange for getting this money, were 2. 1, make sure you don't get into any coalition with Issa Chiruma Bakari, number 1, or into any coalition at all. Number 2, make sure that you will recognize the victory of Paul Biya at the end of the election. You will recognize the result to be proclaimed by the Constitutional Council. Make sure you will not accept or approve any claims by any other candidate that they won the election. When I said that, I have seen a lot of things moving around. Osi Joshua was one of those I named of the SDF, came out there, shouted scandal on social media, and sent out a text and sent out a press release that he was ready to sue me, or that he had filed lawsuits against me, both in Cameroon and in the state of Maryland in the United States of America. The thing I want to say here is, number 1, while I'm waiting for the summonses to arrive, I want to say this. I want to call the public to witness. Continue to watch the actions of the 4 individuals I mentioned. I talked about Osi Joshua Nambangi of the SDF. I talked about Cabral Libingo of the PCRN party. I talked about Bello Buba Maigari of the NUDP party. And I also talked about Serge Espoir Matomba. Now, since after, the events leading up to the elections, first thing you notice is that all of these individuals resisted, shouting calls from the public. The public screamed, shouted, people screamed everywhere. Come together. We even had calls from people from outside Cameroon. I followed Kofi Olomide Sang. I followed Kerosene Singh. I followed Professor P.L.O. Lumumba. Shout, call. I followed Nigerian activists. I followed children on the streets in Gabon. People from all over the world called, opposition, come together, come together, come together. I heard even people within the SDF party remind Osi Joshua that in his days, John Frundi always at least worked with other political parties to seek a coalition, even when the SDF was all powerful. Only once did Frundi make a statement, je ne discute pas avec les petits partis. And that statement was even simply taken out of context by Le Messager when they published at that time. Because always, Mr. Frundi had attended meetings with members of other political parties in pursuit of a coalition. And don't forget that in 1992, Mr. John Frundi was a candidate of the Union for Change, l'Union pour le Changement. And so therefore, voices arose within the SDF to call for the pursuit, for the search for a viable coalition. And some of the senior officials within the SDF told me that they told OC Joshua, looking at the position of the SDF at this point in time, looking at the strength of our party, we cannot, it is unrealistic to dream that the SDF can win this election all by itself. So it makes sense to seek a coalition. OC Joshua said, never, over his dead body. And of course, he and some of his supporters within the SDF party drowned the voices that were seeking a coalition. And can you come to ask me why he did that? I don't know. Right up to the last minute, OC Joshua resisted coalition. I even made public that he does not want to hear about coalition, insisting that the SDF had what it would take to win all alone. Internal SDF sources still inform me that OC Joshua, at the end of the day, was not even able to send polling agents to at least 6 to 7 regions. Oh yes, yet he was thinking of winning. He went into this election certain that he was not going to win. Why then was he going in? And at the end of the day, the results that are being circulated all over the place are telling the clear story of what this internal voices told him. And we have seen the statement sent out by OC Joshua. What sense do the statements make to you? Keep watching. Read the statements that he sent out. Since after the election, read the statement. And tell me, now they have been shouting calls. Okay, Issa Chiroma Bakari has published all the polling sheets that the representatives of his party at the various polling stations brought out and which were channeled to Elekam, where everybody signed. And people have asked the SDF of OC Joshua, can you also publish the ones you received from the same polling stations so that at least people can compare and contrast and be able to tell exactly where the truth lies? To confirm that Elekam actually did remove the internal pages and changed the tallies. Neither OC Joshua, nor Cabral Libi, nor Serge Matomba, nor the UDP party have accepted to do any of this. Have you asked yourself why? Let's continue to watch them. Let's continue to watch their attitudes. Let's continue to watch out for their statements. Let's continue to see their actions and hear what they say. But in the meantime, someone, somewhere, has come out. This is a member of the political bureau of the PCRN party of Cabral Libi Ngo. His name is Jacques Bertrand Mang. This is not John Bakuro speaking. This is not Bakuro speaking. I want some of those church and bay journalists who are out there sending out trash and talking nonsense, demonstrating their professional emptiness, to come read this. This is Jacques Bertrand Mang. Jacques Bertrand Mang is a member of the Politburo, or was a member of the Politburo of the PCRN party. This is what he says. Quand Cabral m'a dit qu'il a reçu de l'argent pour ne pas reconnaître la victoire de Chiroma, j'ai été choqué. Et c'est pourquoi j'ai démissionné. Did you hear that? He says, this Jacques Bertrand Mang is saying, that when Cabral Libingo himself, he's not saying when he heard from Barakuro, that when he heard from the lips of Cabral Libingo, that he had collected money from the system not to recognize the victory of Issa Chiroma Bakari. He, Jacques Bertrand Mang, was shocked, so shocked that he decided to resign from the party. We have seen mass resignations from the PCRN party. Mass resignations. So am I the one now saying it? This is someone saying he heard from the lips of Cabral Libi. And not just any kind of Tom, Dick, or Harry, a member of the political bureau. He did not say it hiding somewhere. This is in quoted, this is in inverted commas. Of course, it's in French. I'm not the one who wrote it. I'm presenting it to you. So when you watch this, make your judgment. And be sure to share this with those church and bail journalists, who maybe call them church and bail, as a church and bail lawyers, or those or those mercantilist journalists who are moving about and saying some kind of trash without taking the pains to go out there and do even the least investigation, without using their critical genius to look at the things that are happening and be able to make informed interpretations to keep the public better sensitized. I'm waiting. You have seen, they have started talking. More will talk. Have you asked yourself, where is Bello Buba Maigari since after election day? Has anybody heard anything from Bello Buba Maigari? Shy of a press release issued by is it Pierre Flambeau Ngaya, the Secretary General of that party, saying that they were looking forward to and counting on what will come out of the Constitutional Council? Cabral Libi has submitted complaints to the Constitutional Council calling for the cancellation of election results in some constituencies. But even before the Constitutional Council sat in session on the 22nd, that's yesterday, on the 22nd, to examine those petitions, Cabral Libingo had withdrawn his petitions. Why did he withdraw them? Did someone remind him of an agreement? Oh no, it's the same thing that O.C. Joshua did. I also saw a document. It's public, it's on social media, I'm sure everybody has seen it. Signed by O.C. Joshua Nambangi himself, withdrawing 2 petitions tabled by the SDF party for the cancellation of the election because of irregularities in some persons. Oh, he withdrew them. So finally, O.C. Joshua is very satisfied with the conduct and outcome of the vote. Why did he also withdraw them? Why are they acting the same? The NUDP party of Bello Buba Maigari, did they submit any petitions? No, nothing. Did we hear any petitions from Serge Espoir Matomba? No, nothing. The only person that finally ended there, and then with some others, was Tomaino Damjoya. Like I said, I don't want to take a lot of our time on this. Just pay attention to the actions of these individuals. Pay attention to their statements. Pay attention to the things that they are doing. And you will make your own informed decision where the truth stands. Where the truth stands. While I wait for the summonses to come. And we will have the opportunity, at least that will give us a very rare opportunity to go through Mr. O.C. Joshua's financial records and establish the pattern that has reigned between the CPDM regime, between the presidency of the Republic of Cameroon, the public treasury of La République du Cameroun, and O.C. Joshua Nambangi. Don't forget that this whole talks of ligne 94, ligne 95, ligne 65, O.C. Joshua Nambangi is also concerned. And don't forget that it is because he started raising hell on all of those things that Barrister Kemende was killed. Barrister Kemende lost his life because he started raising hell about those budgetary lines and the mafia that was being played around those budgetary lines. I'm delighted that O.C. Joshua has insisted we need to go to the law courts. He who wants to go to equity should do what? Make sure your hands are clean. Because we're not going to end only at this 1 billion issue. We will examine all these records. A lot of Cameroonians have died believing in the opposition, believing in statements made by O.C. Joshua Nambangi that he was fighting for change. A lot of people lost their professional careers, including even myself talking here, and O.C. Joshua knows. A lot of us did not get promotion because we were believing in John Frundi, the SDF, and the opposition talked about change. While at the same time, games were being played behind us and people were dying. The time for public reckoning is here. And I'm waiting. I'm really thankful to all those within the SDF, both at the top and at the base, who are continuing to share vital documentation with me. Thank you so much. Who are continuing to show their support and who are continuing to put in all their energy to ensure that at the end of the day, the Pandora's box that Osi Joshua is about to open will help us rid the political scene, especially in the southern Cameroons, of crooked individuals who have taken advantage of our gullibility just too long. The time is now, and I'm very delighted that he's taking the first step. And so that said, my people, let's get into the beef of the matter. The Constitutional Council of La République du Cameroun has decided to postpone the date of the proclamation of the official results of their presidential election. And now, you would understand that this postponement is certainly due to ongoing, under the current or under the table efforts to try and see if they can cause Issa Chiroma Bakari to accept some kind of a deal. We have read in the columns of newspapers, we have heard from here and there that the government of Mr. Paul Biya is offering Issa Chiroma Bakari the post of Prime Minister. I don't know where they plan to keep Joseph John Gute after he put in his all, after he fought the battle of his life to see if he can maintain his senatorial position. But of course, Issa Chiroma Bakari is said to have rejected that offer and rejected even money that was offered him. My personal sources indicate that the negotiations were not conducted by phone, nor even conducted through the local administrative officers in the northern regions, but that, Ferdinand Gongo, Secretary General at the Presidency of the Republic of the République du Cameroun, the Vice God, and of course the de facto president or the president by proxy of La République du Cameroun, traveled himself in person to Garoua to meet with Issa Chiroma Bakari to make these offers, which were roundly rejected. Ferdinand Gongo, I'm surprised, rather went to negotiate with Issa Chiroma Bakari and not going to make sure he was arrested. We followed Atanga Ponji or Atangana Paul scream, threaten that if Issa Chiroma Bakari dared to claim victory, he was going to be immediately arrested and thrown in jail, and he will rot there. What is happening? Why are they instead negotiating with him? With someone who they are supposed to have captured and thrown behind bars? What is happening? Why are they negotiating with him? Oh, strange. Now I understand that the reason they have postponed the date for the official proclamation of the results from today, it had to happen today, this 23rd day of October 2025. Why they postponed it to Monday is because they want to give themselves time for two reasons. One, continue the negotiations behind the scenes to see if they could end up providing enough for Issa Chiroma to accept, to allow them continue to stay in power. Failing that, also to see how they will, if they are able to diffuse the tension in the public that is already aware that Paul Biya will be announced winner. To see if by Monday the tension, the pressure, all the preparations being made for popular uprising would have subsided. So they're giving themselves that luck. I want to take this opportunity to say something that I said in my broadcast in French earlier today, that Issa Chiroma Bakari should note one thing. He may be thinking that the wave of support he's enjoying now is going to be there always. That is a lie. Issa Chiroma Bakari's political party, its only base is in Garoua and not in all of the north. Not in all of the northern region. It's only there. He could have some pockets of support in the far north and Adamawa regions, and then his base in the north. That is all. But the popular wave of support is getting all over the place is circumstantial. So Issa Chiroma Bakari should have this at the back of his mind. The support he's enjoying now, he's not sure of the same support tomorrow. Because those people who have voted for him all over the national territory are not militants of his party. These are supporters of circumstance, supporters of convenience. And so, therefore, if Issa Chiroma Bakari does not take this opportunity to go all the way and defend his victory and think that he could do it again tomorrow, he is heavily mistaken. And he should not. That the slightest error, this same public would very quickly turn their back against him. And if the regime decides to do anything on him, as they would likely do, if he yields to any pressure, then he will be on his own. It's that simple. It is that simple. Issa Chiroma Bakari has one way, the only way, just one way, which is the only way. He said a lot of things in his recent broadcasts. Some of them, I will bring them here for examination in a later broadcast because they really have a direct bearing on our liberation movement, on the people of the Southern Cameroon's effort to free ourselves from decades of colonialism by proxy. This is very important. That said, I am delighted to find out that finally some in the Christian church, some actors in the Christian church are beginning to find their voice, are beginning to realize that it is important for the church to preach to the people that peace without justice is stupidity. That peace without justice is no peace. Because today, the kind of peace that you hear all these members of the CPDM crime syndicate come and preach to you is negative peace. It's not even peace at all. It's peace imposed on the people by the use of forces of lawlessness and disorder. It's peace imposed on the people by threats. By threats, the kind of threats you hear from Atanga Ponji. Oh, if you try, we will do this. If you try, you will meet a hungry python on the way. If you try, we will put you through a blender and blend you like we blend, spices to put in our soup. If you try, we will detain you and you will stay there for so long. Oh, Cameroon is the only country where, the roads or the earth slides even in the dry season. Oh, that is the kind of peace that you are having. The peace that only comes because you accept that those who are oppressing you should continue to have the right to oppress you. That's what Paul Biya tells you. If you want peace, prepare for war. Paul Biya tells you the only way there will be peace after any election is that I win. If I don't win, there will be no peace. Which tells you that who is the greatest danger to peace? The CPDM crime syndicate. My dear people, and for a long time we have heard the Christian church come to us and preach, let us remain peaceful, let us be peaceful, let us always focus on peace and all of those things. But finally, some actors in the Christian church are rising now to say, no, the first thing you need to ensure that there is peace is justice. This is where I've always wanted us to go. And I'm hoping that other members of the Christian church will pick this opportunity and run with it and begin telling people the truth. Desmond Tutu became famous in South Africa during the days of the fight against apartheid, not for preaching stupid peace, not for preaching sterile peace, not for preaching negative peace, but for preaching justice, but for using the pulpit of God to call for justice. Yes, justice for the downtrodden, justice for the suffering masses, justice for people who were undergoing all forms of torture, physical, psychological, economic. Yes, Martin Luther King Jr. today has a day in the United States in his honor, not for preaching peace, sterile, useless, stupid peace, but for preaching justice, for calling for justice, justice for the suffering masses, justice for the downtrodden, justice for those who were being smashed. That is how Martin Luther King Jr. became famous. That's what he is famous for. And therefore, you cannot stand on the pulpit and continue to help people to take themselves to the slaughterhouse in the name of sterile peace. I have seen a statement by the Episcopal Council of the Catholic Church, of the Roman Catholic Church in Cameroon, denouncing a lot of irregularities that they observed during the elections. How did they end? They end again by just calling for peace. Let there be peace. Let there be peace. This and that. We saw the bishops of the Bamenda Ecclesiastical Province, which covers the entire southern Cameroon, in 2016, come out with a very important document decrying the woes of the people of the southern Cameroons. Since then, where have they ended? We have seen them even collect cards, collect gifts from the same oppressors, oppressing the people who are their parishioners, oppressing the people who are looking up to the altar, looking up to the pulpit for a liberating message. Because the word of God is a word of freedom. The word of God is a word of justice. God is a God of justice, not just a God of sterile peace. So I'm delighted that this gentleman in French Cameroon says it as it should be said. Let's follow him and then I will interpret.
Fais-tu sur cette nation? Quel est ton rôle dans cette nation, Église de Jésus-Christ? Même le silence te rend complice. Je m'adresse que ce soit au gouvernement, que ce soit au conseil constitutionnel, à n'importe qui peut, qui a un pouvoir quelque part. Si tu ne l'exerces pas pour le bien de la nation, tu en paieras le prix. Toi et tes générations qui viendront après toi. Et vous me demandez, tais-toi, prie pour la paix, reste tranquille. Vous avez vu où la paix sans la justice?
Did you hear that? He's clear. He's asking, what has the Christian church done? He's talking from the pulpit. What has the Christian church done in Cameroon this far? Where is the Christian church when people are suffering? Where is the Christian church when people are in pains? Where is the Christian church where all over the place people are facing serious injustice? And he just said now before I stopped him that what is this nonsense that will continue to preach peace from the pulpit? Where have we ever seen that real peace can exist without justice? The very same thing that we have been saying over and over and over. We have seen members of the Christian church in the southern Cameroons go and crown a colonial governor who is overseeing a genocide in the region and describe Lele Lafrique de Ben Chofo as a veritable gentleman who really is doing a wonderful thing for his people. When I complained about this, Pastor Wara did not hesitate to block me on WhatsApp. Yes, because when I saw it, I decried it. We need to decry it. We need to tell them. We see in our churches all these members of the CPDM crime syndicate who still brazenly, publicly, without shame. We saw them steal an election, claim that there were votes here, to the point where they tell me that my Momo, where I come from, 23,000 people voted there against 15,000, for probably against 15,000 in Mezam. Oh my goodness. And these people will be in church the next day and will be given the front seat by people who are calling themselves men and women of God. That they are preaching the word. They are preaching the gospel. The gospel which talks about justice. God is a God of justice, not a God of flattery, not a God of bigotry, not a God that covers people who use the altar simply to make personal gains and call it preaching the word of God. We have seen that. It's ridiculous. It's shameful. It's painful. But I'm happy that there is now a reawakening from some angle. Follow again.
Qui parmi nous ici peut dire que dans mon bureau de vote c'est tel ou tel, c'est une personne autre que tout ce que nous connaissons là qui a gagné? Qui? S'il sort dans la rue, on va tirer sur lui, disant qu'il désobéit à la loi. Mais l'Église a la voix prophétique, non? L'Église a l'autorité pour parler au gouverneur, non? Jésus ne parlait-il pas à Hérode, l'appelant même renard? Parce qu'on lui a donné des malades. Elle ne peut pas se taire. Comment? Tous nous avons vu les élections. Et tous nous voyons ce qui se passe. Comment on peut m'appeler? On peut me demander de me taire. Parce que...
Did you hear that? He says, all of us have seen the elections. All of us have seen what happened. These shameless idiots. Sorry for calling them that. Calling themselves our elites. You will go to the church. You will find the full Jonathan Majingnes. You will find the Callistus full Gentries. You will find the Ngala Gerards. You will find the Peter Mafani Musonges. You will find the Fotabe Tandos. You will find the Mbelamoki Charles them. You will find all of these people. You will find all of them sitting on the front row. All of them sitting on the front row with all what they did in our communities. People did not go out to vote. People stayed in their homes. Yet they came and said people voted 100%, 90% for Paul Biya. Oh yes. Oh yes. And let me tell you, you're only seeing that as an act of political banditry. What you don't see is these people confiscating the future of millions of people. Is these people destroying the lives of millions of young people who are only begging to have the basics of life to live on. Listen, by that single act, they are killing many more people on the highways where there are no roads. We have seen rainwater sweep our children in Bamenda, sweep people before the powerless eyes of onlookers to their untimely deaths. We have seen soldiers, it happened again just yesterday, broke into the homes of young people in Boya who were sleeping peacefully, cut them out, and they were taken to the police stations to sign undertakings that they will not demonstrate. What crime did they commit? They were only sleeping in their rooms peacefully. Do you win an election and you're about to pronounce your result? Suddenly you start attacking the same people that you claim voted for you. Suddenly you start feeling frightened, terrified about the same people that you claim voted for you. We are seeing all this. We are seeing all these injustices. By those acts, look at, I showed you videos here of people in Kupe Wanenguba showing you the rough roads between Tombel and Nyasoso, Tombel and Mwambo, Tombel and Bangem. You have seen videos here, footage here of somebody swimming in mud on the road to Ekondo Titi to try and fix a car stuck in mud. We have seen all of this here. And these people come and say that these individuals going through all this pain voted for Paul Biya. We even heard from Mukete, Ekoko, say that CDC workers who had gone for years without their pay they deserve for their hard labor, that they didn't vote for the CPDM party, they will be called thieves. Yet they will sit on the front benches in church. They will be honored in church by our reverend fathers and our pastors. They will be honored in church. They will be given the front seats. Shamelessly, it is time for the Christian church to rise from its slumber. It is time for our men and women of God to stand up for justice for the people. The people have suffered enough. The people have suffered a lot. I'm at least delighted. I'm going to let that brother go because that whole video has been played in another outing in French, and you could watch the full excerpt there. But it's the cry. He is saying it is time for the church to stop preaching peace and start preaching justice. To stop preaching useless therapies and start preaching the message of justice. I was delighted that I saw a text by this gentleman, this venerated man of God, Bishop Bar Pius Inubu. And that message he sent out, of course, I took time to verify that the message effectively came from him. This message is entitled Truth and Facts. And he wrote, Love for my beloved nation, Cameroon. And this is what Reverend Bishop Bar Pius Inubu says. I speak as a voice in this nation. I speak in my capacity as a bishop of the Church of God. The church cannot be silent in the face of impending danger, injustice, manipulation, intimidation, and human degradation. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I can only thank God that at least in this lifetime, I am seeing someone rise from the Lord to say it as it is. The bishop says, fellow Cameroonians, there's no time as this that our collective action is needed to salvage our people and this nation from years of aching maltreatment and misery. Oh yes, Bishop, say it again. He says there's no better time than now for us to stand up and defend the voice of the people. It was Archbishop Desmond Tutu who said, silence is siding with the oppressor. Bishop Pius Inubu. Oh my goodness. How I feel excited this morning. How I feel so good. How I really am thanking God that at least in the whole lot, someone has emerged to say it as it is. He says, it was Archbishop Desmond Tutu who said silence is siding with the oppressor. And he added, the church is the voice of the voiceless. It will be a shameful thing that the church in Cameroon does not stand up and be vocal and make her voice heard at this time. I know that silence is from the place of fear, insecurity, fear of one's life or inability to put one's church or ministry in the spotlight against the powers that be. My question is, if we remain silent now, will the church ever speak again after the election period? That is a fundamental question. Will our voices ever be able to speak against injustices or evil when we have failed to speak now that our voice is needed more than ever before? Oh Lord. Oh Lord, have mercy. Bishop Inubu continues. I want to ask this question. Aren't we feeling the suffering of the people? Are we not tired of the price hikes and inflation and debts that our children's children have to pay, even when we do not know what has been done with it? The election has been conducted, and we all saw massive fraud and intimidation that went with it. We have seen threats, and we have seen the great level of brutality and unfortunately the burning of certain properties that are supposed to be kept in use for the future. These are all signs of frustration, and I can tell you without fear of contradiction that Cameroonians are tired. Yes, they are tired. Cameroon has become a laughingstock across the world. Before, when we traveled across the nations of the world, we spoke with pride about our fatherland. But today I am personally ashamed to identify myself as a Cameroonian. Oh yes, 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 yes. Yes, Bishop Inubu, tell them. Yes, it's painful, and the ordinary people have decided that they need a change, and we, the people, have spoken. Enough is enough. Nobody loves this nation more than the other. The only difference and the only problem is that some do so because of the benefits they receive, while others do so for genuine love for our fatherland. That is why you can see some people come on air, online, to defend evil publicly. Yes, I saw Achoban Paul in Bamenda, who also says he's a pastor, come out publicly to defend evil. I saw Achoban Paul in Bamenda, who says he's a pastor, come out publicly to defend evil. Achoban Paul. Let's continue. Yes. So, he says, This is unbelievable and a shameful thing. Pastors, bishops, prophets, can we, for Christ's sake, tell the world the truth we know? I love my nation, Cameroon, and I can't sell her for 30 pieces of silver. I refuse to be a Judas for my beloved nation, Cameroon. On the behalf of the body of Christ in Cameroon, as an ordained bishop, I ask that let the right thing be done. As we await the final result proclamation by the Constitutional Council, as the law demands, we also want to make it clear that we are not ignorant of the one who has been voted massively by the masses, as the polls have indicated to us. It would be a tragedy and a fallacy for the Constitutional Council to publish something contradictory. I hope it won't be the case. We love this nation and we do not want to see any bloodshed. Demonstrations have already started. And if the right thing is not done, then imagine what will happen in the future. As bishop, I say no to any form of intimidation and bloodshed. My question to every Cameroonian today is, where do you stand? Where do you stand? On the side of injustice or on the side of truth? Love for nation or silence because you are benefiting? Some who speak are ashamed to defend the truth but have taken side with the oppressor. Check your conscience because very soon judgment will begin. I stand on the side of truth and justice and genuine love for my beloved country, Cameroon. Those who know me know that I cannot remain silent in the face of injustice and oppression, not even now. Bishop Inubu, I pray to God. I pray to God. I pray to God. You are covered with the blood of the Lamb. I pray to God, let him keep you. Let him keep you because this generation needs men of God like you. Truth must be spoken to power, and love for my nation must supersede personal interest. Love for my nation must supersede personal interest. This time around, Cameroon must be free. Peace. And this is written by Bishop Dr. Pius Inubu, visionary and founder of Revived Christian Church International, Limbe, Cameroon. Thank you so much, man of God. This message is so clear. This message is so eloquent. This message stands so tall that I don't want to continue this broadcast. I don't want to continue this broadcast, lest I say something that can mire the strength, the power that is found in this message. My dear people of the southern Cameroon, my dear people of Amazonia, just before I go, there have been persistent calls on us. You people call off the ghost towns of Monday, October 27, so that people can go out and demonstrate, since they have shifted the proclamation of elections to Monday. They are shifting that because they want to count on the ghost towns in the southern Cameroons to use us again. My dear people, I have this to say, and I will remain on my position. The people of the southern Cameroons who have suffered enough. Right now, our people are already receiving an influx of people coming in from La République du Cameroon. Yes, a good lot of our people were heady are now running back home. The agencies are running mad with clients. Yes, people are traveling back home. We have even citizens of La République running to our land. Just be able to receive them is already a wonderful contribution. Let the people of La République du Cameroon fight their fight. I will insist on that. Let the people of La République du Cameroon fight their fight. Someone told me that you people, the so-called separatists, I don't know who tells them that we're separatists. We're not separatists. We're not separating from some place where we belong before. Say you people are now speaking the same language of Atanga Ponji. He could even pay you because you are asking our people not to go out and demonstrate. We ask our people right from day one when these elections were called not to be part of this whole thing. Our people reasoned with us and decided not to be part of it. And the decision of our people not to be part of it has exposed the CPDM gang because they went to ends never before imagined with empty streets, empty villages, empty cities, and claimed a kind of participation that even drone images that are circulating among the Western diplomatic missions are showing that there was never anybody out in the southern Cameroons voting. And that has exposed them to limits, to levels never before seen. So It's not today. We'll be asking our people to stay out of this. We have lost a lot of lives. Our people fought a lot to help the people of La Republic to Cameroon. That at the time when we believed that we could still do things together, they watched us. They stood by. They saw us die. They saw us killed. They saw us maimed. They participated in calling us names. The time has come for them too to take their destiny into their hands. You can see that while we're asking our people to stay home, we are helping in the mobilization in La République du Cameroun because they are our neighbors. For the people to rise up and defend their victory, to rise up and take their own destiny into their hands. But as for our people, we have lost a lot of people. We are not ready to lose any more lives, not for any reason whatsoever. And others can yield to that pressure. Me, I won't. The people of the southern Cameroons are sovereign. They know what to do. They will decide what to do. So I won't speak for them. But the people have heard us. The people are politically well educated, thoroughly sensitized. They are not fools. If they decide to go out, they will. I will not be there to stop them. But if they understand the need to stay home and stay home, I will only say they did well. So the power is in the hands of the people of the southern Cameroons. They are the ones who keep these ghost towns, not me. Nobody goes to force them. They keep it by themselves because of the sacred agreement they had with the consortium way back in 2017 that this particular ghost town on Mondays will remain until we attain freedom land, to be there as a clear signal to the world of the civilian participation, of the civilian commitment, of the common man's resiliency towards the freedom of our homeland. To God be the glory. Thank you all for watching. Share as much as possible, and subscribe so that we all stay informed. I will be having a live broadcast when it will be 9 or 10 p.m. Amber time